So this kid fell off a swing set when he was 4. Now, did that drive him to kill a bunch of people? Well, you decide. So everyone calls the kid Sasha, and Sasha is around 4 when our story starts, and he's living in Moscow. And one day in 1978, he's playing outside on a swing set, and he falls backwards, and kaboom, he lands on the ground. Then he sits up, and the big metal swing swings back, and kapow, hits him right in the head. And this ends up being a really bad head injury for him. And from this point on, his behavior completely changes. And he becomes aggressive and emotionally unstable, but no cause for alarm. I mean, he's still just a kid. Well, fast forward 14 years, and it's now 1992. And by this point, he's 18 years old, and he's got all kinds of problems. He started drinking all the time, and he starts to idolize the Rostov Ripper, which is this Russian serial killer he read about who killed more than 50 women and kids across Russia. And so now he starts wanting to kill people too. But not just one person. He wants to kill more people than the Rostov Ripper did and break his record. So it becomes his objective to ultimately kill 64 people because that's more than Rostov. Plus, there's 64 squares on a chessboard, and he loves chess. So he gets to work on this plan. Kill 64 people. But for whatever reason, Sasha doesn't think he can do all this on his own. So he asks a friend to go on a murder spree with him. And for whatever reason, this friend agrees to do it. But then, pretty quickly, that friend realizes this is a terrible idea, and he backs out. Well, this pisses Sasha off. I mean, how dare his friend abandon him? So one day, soon after that, Sasha invites the friend to meet him in the park. And when they meet up and they're alone, suddenly, boom, he grabs his neck and he just starts strangling him with a rope until he kills him. Then he takes his body and he throws it in a nearby sewer hatch so that no one will find him. And thus, his friend becomes the first square on the chessboard. And since Sasha was the last person seen with him, police question him, but they've got no evidence that he did anything wrong. So he doesn't get in trouble at all. Despite that, he feels like this was a close call with police, and he's honestly a bit spooked from it. So he decides to stay out of trouble and not get violent anymore. And 9 years pass, and it's now 2001, and Sasha's 27 at this point. And as much as he wants to stay out of trouble, he still hasn't forgotten the adrenaline rush he got from killing his friend all those years before. And now he feels the urge to get violent again. And he's certain he's clever enough to keep getting away with it. So one day he meets an older guy in the local park, same park where he killed his friend, and he decides that he's gonna take this guy out. So he befriends this guy, and he plays chess with him, and he gives him some bullshit story about how this is the anniversary of when his dog died, and he wants some company to mourn this dog's death. And so then the two of them, they go for a walk to a remote area of the park, and they're like drinking a little vodka. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, pow, Sasha hits him on the head with a bottle of vodka, and he hits him again and again and again until the guy, unfortunately, dies. Then he throws the body into an open sewer shaft nearby. And so this whole plan, it worked for Sasha. I mean, he got the rush he was looking for. In fact, it works so well, he decides, let's do it again. And so he finds a homeless person in the park, and he befriends them, and he offers this person vodka, and he goes on a walk with them to a remote area, and then he attacks them, and he murders them with a hammer. And then he does it all over again, and again, and again, each time dumping their bodies in the open sewer. So by the end of 2001, Sasha has killed around 11 people. And each time he murders them, he draws a cross on his chessboard that he has at home. But here's where things get even more messed up. Around 2005, he shifts his strategy. Before, he was killing mostly homeless strangers that he would meet in the park. But now, he starts killing people that he knows. Like, he kills his neighbor and regular drinking partner. He kills a woman who works at the same grocery store he works at. He kills 10 people who live in the same 4-building complex that he lives in. And by this point, he's been doing this for years now. and no one suspects it's him. So he starts to feel untouchable, like he's too smart for police to ever catch him. And that is when he starts getting arrogant and reckless and sloppy. Like, he just stops hiding the bodies in the sewer when he's done. Like, he just leaves them where he killed them. He also starts hanging around the crime scenes afterwards and watching the police and forensics teams work, and he'll like silently mock them for not noticing that he's there. And at one point, he lures a guy into the woods and he kills him with a hammer, and when the police find the body, the guy turns out to be a former police officer. And this forces the local police department to really start looking into all these bodies showing up in the area. And they finally start to realize that it's all connected and that they now have a serial killer on their hands. However, they have no clue who it could be, because nothing about Sasha would indicate to anyone that he's secretly a violent guy. I mean, he's just kind of an average dude who stacks shelves at a grocery store and plays chess in the park for fun, so no one suspects him of anything. And so it looks like he'll just keep killing people until he gets enough victims to completely fill up that chessboard. Until 2006, when he finally screws up, because he decides that he's gonna murder yet another one of his coworkers from the grocery store that he works at. This woman, Marina. So one day, they're at work, and he asks Marina if she would like to go for a walk in the park later. And she says yes. But I guess she's also feeling a little scared about walking in the park, knowing that lots of bodies have been found there lately. So after work, they both go home to change separately. And while at home, she writes a note and she leaves it for her son, telling him that she's going out with Sasha, and she writes Sasha's phone number on it. Then she goes out and she meets up with Sasha, and they start walking in the park. And just as you would have predicted, suddenly he pulls out a hammer and boom, he hits her with it, and this unfortunately kills her. A few hours later, Marina hasn't returned home, and her son notices, and he calls the number on the note that she left, Sasha's number. So Sasha picks up, and he just straight up lies to the son, like, "No, we never went out. I haven't seen her." So the son calls his father, and he tells him that his mom is missing, and his father calls the police. And so police, they immediately look into Sasha, and they pull the CCTV footage from the local Moscow metro station, which shows Sasha and Marina walking together right before she was murdered. And so, bam, Sasha is arrested. Here's a picture of him. And ultimately, he confesses to killing up to 63 people, just one shy of filling up the squares on his chessboard. And so he goes to trial, and he's found guilty, and he gets sentenced to life in prison.